I am now very pleased to introduce our next interviewee. How many of you are familiar with the wedding registry Zola? All right. So after holding leadership roles at Yahoo and Gilt Group, Shan-Lin Ma founded and designed Zola to make one of the most stressful yet joyous days of women's lives go as smoothly as possible. Zola has raised more than $140 million in funding, carries more than 500 brands, and more than 500,000 couples have used the platform to register for gifts. Please welcome the co-founder and CEO of Zola, Shan-Lin Ma, with Fortune's Claire Zillman.
Hi, Shan. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
I think Patty took a survey of the room, and if people are familiar with Zola. We have a lot of disruptors here at this conference, but it strikes me as so interesting that you chose to disrupt an industry that is literally built on tradition and ritual. Can you just explain why you decided to take this on?
Yeah, like many successful startups, it was really born out of personal need. But the difference was, many people asked me, oh, you must have been getting married, and so you thought it was antiquated and you wanted to change it. But not quite. I am still single, but the difference is I was going to a lot of my friends' weddings. They were all getting married at the same time, buying a lot of gifts from bad wedding registries, and knew that there had to be a much better way, and knew that we could use design and technology to give couples what they really want today.
Right. What do you think was so bad about the existing registry systems that couples were using?
Well, couples today getting married, they are the millennial generation, and they're unlike any other generation. I think we've seen at this conference, in every single category, they're different. In weddings, couples are getting married older than ever before. They live together before they get married, and they want different things that reflect their lifestyle. They want not just products, but experiences, cash for their honeymoon or their home. And no one was letting them register for the things they really wanted all in the one place in a way that was on devices that they use today.
Right. So on Zola, you can register for items like a KitchenAid mixer, for instance. Is that the most registered for item? Because that would be my guess.
Correct.
Okay.
So there's still apparently a lot of KitchenAid mixing going on. But there is also very popular gifts include Airbnb gift cards, Delta, Sonos, GoPro.
Right, so you can do items, you can do experiences, and you can do cash.
Exactly.
Register for just hard, cold cash.
And we see people really explain all the things that they want to use cash for their future lives together that makes it more meaningful and interesting, like our first home, our IVF fund, a puppy fund. There's no end to the things we've seen.
So interesting. And you shared a stat with me that I guess makes a lot of sense, but still took me by surprise in that about 2 million couples get married every year, and that is really consistent. So I'm interested in how you think about the growth of your business when that number is so steady.
Yeah, it is incredibly consistent how 2 million couples have gotten married every year through boom and bust cycles. What has really changed is that because people are getting married older, they tend to have earned a bit more money, they're professionals, they're busy, and so the amount that they spend on their wedding has really gone up. So the average amount someone spends on their wedding today is $35,000 nationally. In New York, the average is $75,000 on one day, and that is a big commitment. I think what has accelerated this has been the rise of Instagram and social media, where weddings now are broadcast the moment that they happen. And so people's interest in creating a beautiful, inspiring experience for themselves and their friends has really taken a step up. And yet the wedding industry, particularly the tools that people use to plan their wedding, had not caught up for decades.
And so you started with the registry, but you've moved into sort of new areas. Can you explain a little bit about your new sort of ventures outside the registry?
Sure. Yeah, so we started with wedding registry as really our wedge into the larger weddings industry, and saw that once couples started to really use Zola for their wedding registry, they asked us to help with other parts of their wedding planning. Because today, on average, a couple will use 20 different tools to plan one day. And it's not that they want to, it's just that there's nothing in the one place. So we started to follow our couples to where they were leading us. We launched what we call our Zola Weddings product, which is our free wedding website, guest list manager, checklist, all free, all beautiful, and mobile enabled. And then couples started to say, well, if I have my wedding website on Zola and my registry with you, can I also print my invitations with you? And so a few months ago, we launched paper save the dates and invitations. And just in a few short months, that has exploded. And then more recently, launched a real weddings product, which is really, again, demanded by our couples who want us to help them understand how to think about wedding planning. So we show them and give them the ability to search real weddings and see not just what kind of wedding would I like, but who are all the vendors associated with that wedding? How can I book them in the area that I am in?
Right, and now you're taking a new step. You're ready to announce, right?
Yeah, well, that's right. So I am now. So in early 2019, we'll be opening our Zola store in New York. And this is really a unique shopping experience in that it's the first time that you can go into a single location and you can see 2,000 of our most popular wedding registry gifts, products, and experiences. But you can also create your wedding website, pick out your wedding invitations, and save the dates. We have a 3D printer in there. You can print a cake topper of yourself and your partner.
Oh, cool.
A lot of other fun things. But it's really an interactive retail experience where you can plan as much of your wedding as you want, all in under an hour.
Right. That seems to be fitting into a theme we've hit on a few times just in the last day. I mean, Emily Weiss from Glossier talked about opening her first store. Why is it so important to have that physical presence in such a digital age?
We really had our couples, again, tell us that they wanted to touch and feel certain things that we were offering, whether it was bedding or towels on our registry, or some of the print save the dates and invitations and paper products that we were launching. Couples said, I would love to see this in person. Where can I go to see this in person? And so we did a lot of work around how can we create this physical experience that is taking retail to the next level. So as an example of what you'll be able to do there is, for wedding registry specifically, we have NFC tags on every item, so you can just wave your phone over anything and either add it to your registry, see details, or share it with friends. And I think that's really exciting for us to think about how can we take shopping to the next level.
Do you see yourself opening a lot of these stores, or are you going to be really strategic? I mean, you'll be strategic no matter what, but is it going to be, like Emily actually mentioned, just one or two, or city by city?
Yeah, we're not in the business of opening 200 stores. We'll really get a sense of how does this benefit us in terms of awareness and education for our couples. And I think maybe consider what might be the next few cities that might be interesting for us. But weddings is an interesting industry in that it is seasonal. There is a certain time of year that people want to plan their weddings, set everything up. And so we want to be there physically when they are in that mindset, but the rest of the year don't necessarily need to be.
Right, that's a really good point. So thinking about that sort of constraint of the wedding industry, how do you see the model you've built to date potentially applying beyond weddings?
So we have really started in this industry that was traditionally dominated by media. So the legacy players within the weddings industry had built businesses based on getting eyeballs through content and selling advertising against those eyeballs. Why that is challenging in the weddings industry specifically is because there is 2 million couples getting married every year, and so that size makes it hard for it to ever build a big weddings business based on an advertising business model. I think where we've innovated, and what I'm most proud of, is that we've been able to create a business model in this market that allows us to gain a foothold through wedding registry and then expand logically to serve couples in their entire wedding planning journey. So because the weddings market is a $100 billion market in the US alone that really has not seen any multi-billion-dollar disruptor, our strategy has been, how can we create a business model in registry first and foremost that is a hybrid of both an e-commerce and a marketplace business, and make sure we have a solid business model before we can then expand and build new products and tools in services that couples want and need in wedding planning. And over time, you iterate towards adding additional monetization channels if it makes sense for the business. But if not, we already have a great business in registry.
Right. I think just based on the reception you got in the room, that's really clear. But somehow we are already out of time. So Jan, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to send you off this way.